Montgomery County, Maryland. Montgomery County Public Schools will remove all religious labels from school holidays. But members of the Islamic community say the adjustments to the school calendar do nothing to gain parity and a day off for the Muslim holiday of Eid. We've got to take all the names off our holidays because a small handful of Muslims are offended by Christmas, by Easter. So now we still get the days off, but we can't call them that. This is absolutely stupid. We are a Christian nation, and you goat-raping pedophile followers. That's right, I said it. Mohammed, it is a fact. I am not disparaging Islam. I am explaining it. He had sex with goats. He raped children. He married a 6-year-old. And all Muslims are told to emulate Muhammad, be just like him. So yes, while not every Muslim is a terrorist, every Muslim is a follower of a goat-raping pedophile. And if you don't like the way we do things in America, then go back to your cave and your goats. Okay, that's the Islam bit for tonight. If you're interested in this, the entire show every Friday right here on KCAA 1050 in Southern California. Also, it's broadcast live on the internet at Patriot-Radio-Show.com. The entire show every Friday. It's Jihad on America. And it's all about this, about how they're getting their ways week after week after week. We're bending over. We're bowing down. We're letting them force their Islamic sinful ways, their disgusting cave-dwelling ways on us, on our kids. Okay, big uproar this week. Huge uproar. And the Republicans are beginning to make noise about it. Economist Jonathan Gruber, he's an MIT economist. We talked a little bit about this last night. He was a primary architect and author of Obamacare. A couple of days ago, a video was leaked where he was sitting at a panel at some kind of a conference, and he was telling people, yes, we had to word things certain ways in Obamacare to deceive the people that scored them, that said how much the bill was going to cost, and to deceive the American voters because they're basically too stupid to realize what we're doing. So the whole thing about it's going to save the average family $2,000 a month was bull crap from the beginning. The whole thing about Obamacare cutting $2 billion off the national budget a year was bull crap. It was all playing with numbers, as any thinking person knew. Now, this whole bit about the stupid American voters, they are stupid. They voted for Obama twice, okay? But let's bear in mind, no American civilian ever voted for Obamacare. No Republican congressman ever voted for Obamacare. Obamacare was snuck in with entirely Democratic votes, and they even had to bribe 6 congressmen with kickbacks for their state, with exemptions for this state. They had all these different provisions to convert the last 6 votes into yes votes. So it was criminal acts of bribery and a forced vote that got this in. But the important part here is that the architect, the person that was one of the most involved people in writing this legislation, did it while knowingly misleading the Office of Budget Management and the American people. Now, the Republicans are going to have a series of hearings. And if in these hearings it comes out, and how can it not, that there were Democrats in these meetings and that these Democrats knew that lies were being told, that this law was being worded in such a way that it could fool the Office of Management and Budget to trick the numbers into being something positive. If the Democrats can be proved to have been part of that, I predict we will have some jail terms doled out. This is huge. Now, Gruber went on TV a day after this video broke, and he said, look, I was speaking off the cuff. I didn't mean it that way. It wasn't intentional that we did this. It was just bad phraseology that I just slipped speaking off the cuff like that. Well, not so much. In the last 36 hours, 2 more videos have surfaced from 2 other events where he said pretty much the same thing. So this wasn't just extemporaneous slip of the tongue. This was, in fact, done on purpose to fool the Office of Management and Budget and to fool the stupid American voters. So watch for that one. This while not as serious as the IRS spying and the NSA spying on us, while not as criminal as the Benghazi, this is huge because this is Obama's only legacy other than killing 4 Americans in Benghazi. So we're going to hear a lot more about this. Folks, stick with us. We've still got a lot more coming up.
Listen to AM 1050 KCAA. It makes people wonder what you're up to.
Tom O'Halloran, holding the line against tyranny from Washington, D.C.
I am America. One voice, united we stand. I am America. One hope to heal our land. There is still work that must be done. I will not rest until we've won. I am America.
Welcome back. This is the fastest hour in radio. This is the Wednesday night edition of the Patriot Radio Show, and I am your host, Tom O'Halloran. I'd like to thank my friends in the chat room. The gang is always there, and I appreciate them each and every week. My editor of the network, TomO'Halloran.com, and 14 other websites, Veronica Coffin. Thank you, Ronnie. I do appreciate you so much. My good friends, Ron and Brian, that's Gulf Dogs on Twitter and at Smokey_Texas. These guys do BNR Radio, The Last Stand, a fabulous radio show, terrific show. Enjoy it immensely. Sunday nights at 8 o'clock. And if you go to Patriot-Radio-Show.com, there's 3 columns. Go to the top of the middle column. You'll see a big banner that says Radio Shows I Like. Click on that. It'll take you to a page with a list of, I think there's probably 20 shows in there. Right at the top, you'll see the Halls of Valhalla. They've got 3 different shows on that network. BNR Radio, The Last Stand. BNR is Brian and Ron. Don't cheat yourself out of catching the show. It's a great way to spend 2 hours on a Sunday night. And Quincy Smith in the chat room, my good friend Dale, I appreciate every time I see you log in, brother. Thank you. Now, I talked a little bit earlier about my Twitter accounts being suspended. Okay, I make a lot of noise on Twitter. There are some dirtbags out there. When I come across a dirtbag, I make it a point to out them, to tell people that they're dirtbags. There's one guy that's a predator. He woos and romances women, and if they snub him, if they're not returning his affection, they're called some things that sound like riches and roars or whatever. He's just a vile person. I'm not going to give him any airtime here, mention his name. But there are other people like that. There's 2 or 3 people that I routinely, when I see somebody starting to talk to them, I let them know, hey, go look at this and see who you're talking to. Well, these guys are all liberals. They claim to be conservative, but it's obviously not by the types of things they do. What they tend to do is they'll turn around and they'll go and get 20 or 30 of their friends, all scumbag liberals. And not all liberals are scumbags, but these people are of a certain breed, okay? I've got a lot of liberal friends, which I love and respect, as misguided as they are. So they all do what's called blocking and reporting. So they block my Twitter feed from their screen, and they report it as being abusive, or saying I'm attacking them, or one thing or another. And if enough people do it, somebody gets suspended. And it can take days, sometimes even weeks, to get an account back once it's suspended. Well, my primary account got suspended about 6 weeks ago. I had 140,000 followers following me on Twitter. I've been on that account for over 6 years, and I have posted 667,000 tweets to Twitter without a single problem. But all of a sudden, it had to be suspended. I can't be that bad of a guy if I've got that many tweets on there, and I've been on there for 6 years without suspension. So fine, they suspended that. I used one of my other accounts. It was a smaller account. I only had 40,000 people on this one. So I continued tweeting. I continued doing my thing, although there's not as many people listening. And that one gets suspended after a couple of weeks. So I used another one, again, another account that I had about 40,000 people on. That one gets suspended. Okay. Like I said, if you're not really ticking people off online, why even go online? I'm here to annoy people every single night, and I get that. But 3 accounts, really? Well, breaking today, it seems the House Science Committee chairman is challenging the National Science Foundation Truthy project funding. The House Science, Space, and Technology Committee chairman, Lamar Smith, wants to know how and why a federal agency gave nearly $1 million tax dollars to a project studying the targeting of political speech on Twitter. The Texas Republican demanded Monday that the National Science Foundation officials explain a $919,717 grant they made to the Truthy project, headed by a University of Indiana professor that sought to track, quote, hate speech and, quote, false information on the popular social media platform. Well, some have argued that Truthy could be used to better understand things like disaster communications or assist law enforcement. Instead, it appears Truthy focused on examples of false and misleading ideas, hate speech, and subversive propaganda communicated by conservative groups. During the study, researchers focused on such Twitter hashtags as TCOT, which stands for Top Conservatives on Twitter, a hashtag I've used for 6 years. Whether by amazing coincidence or on purpose, it seems several social media accounts highlighted by Truthy were subsequently terminated by the owners of Twitter, effectively muzzling the political free speech of the targeted individuals and groups. Smith noted that at least one prominent federal official has called recently for the federal government to regulate and limit online political speech. Now, he was referring to a proposal by FEC Vice Chairman Ann Revelle for a panel to reconsider its standing policy of exempting online political advertising from political campaigns. But the point is now I don't know whether I was suspended on 3 different accounts because somebody specifically complained that I was offending them or attacking them, or did their robots just pick up that I was a conservative and I talk a lot? In either case, this $919,000 ought to be taken back from the